how's it feel bringing back Top Gear successfully, especially with all the issues you guys dealt with during filming?
I gotta say, boy, how do I say this? I got feedback on Friday night from all my gearhead friends, dudes, stuntmen in the community, some off-road racers, and it's maybe the proudest I've felt being a part of a TV show. Like, it passed their mustard, and I was like, oh, thank God. I'm so happy that they didn't poo-poo it.
I can believe it. Then Jethro, Rob, how about you guys?
Sorry, what was the question exactly again?
Sorry, how is it, successfully bringing back Top Gear, especially in light of, the disruptions in the filming schedule?
Well, the disruptions, it's funny, because we had a disruption every episode, but that makes usually for good TV. But having to shut down for a couple months for a pandemic was, not something that we had bargained for, or it was definitely, it was really tough coming back. Probably that was the hardest thing, because it was scary. We had all been in our houses for months,
Well, I'd actually been in Jamaica on a beach for 2 weeks because
quarantining.
I had when we got called off filming, I flew home to the UK, and then the only route back for me, I couldn't fly direct to the US, and the only country open for tourism, unfortunately, was Jamaica. So I had 2 weeks in Jamaica to quarantine. So that sucked. But bringing Top Gear back it was scary. It's such a scary beast to take on, and I'm glad that what we've done seems to have really worked with people.
Oh, absolutely. And I noticed that you have had a more streamlined show, a little bit shorter in length, without any studios, any celebrity guests, or anything like that. Was that more of a conscious decision that went into it?
From my point of view, what's great about the many iterations is watching how the hosts interact and what their true relationship is. I find that really intriguing in the show. And so for us, interacting with audiences and stuff, to me, just felt like giving up real estate that I would way rather explore between the three of us and see us interact with each other and how we feel about one another. That seems to me more intriguing than interacting with strangers or guests, which is not to say that there won't be guests or anything like that. I don't know what the future holds, but
yeah,
I'm grateful we didn't do a studio audience.
Me too.
Perfect. And then that actually does bring up my next question, which is for Jethro. Obviously going from, head to head, working with Johnny, having the nickname of Jethro, what was it like, with the transition to working with new hosts and you guys all getting that chemistry and getting to know each other?
It's been really great. It was intimidating when I started, obviously walking into what is a much bigger production than anything I've ever done, with two super established people whose whole careers are basically because they're so good at improv and they're so good at being funny. So for me to walk in, that's tough. But I've really enjoyed it. And the great thing, I think, is we haven't had to think too much about what's my character, what's your character, what do we do in the show? It just happened. So I walked in, I think I came quite lucky to the audition phase, because I wasn't a super fan of Dax or a super fan of Rob. And I don't mean that badly. I mean, I've got a young family. I haven't watched all their stuff. So I didn't walk in with this huge fear of, oh my God, I'm meeting these two superstars. And it just worked. I walked in, we got on great. Dax and I sort of understood each other really quick. Rob is just so funny and quick-witted and seemed to just want to absorb everything to do with Top Gear. So I found the transition easier than I thought, just because of the guys, basically.
Okay, perfect. And obviously one thing that I've always wondered as a viewer, do you prefer to do, luxury road trips and high-end supercars, or the more, the sketchy cars that might break down a lot? Because for me, the scene with the Saab breaking down was really funny, but I'm a viewer. I'm not the one dealing with it.
I will.
That's a great distinction to make. Yeah.
That was a rough day, rough car to drive. I mean, I was literally had my head out the window most of the time so I could breathe. Thought I was being poisoned. I thought I was going to throw up. When we pulled over at that lunch place,
Yeah.
You know, we're all sitting on that picnic bench. I walked back to like the side of the building thinking I was going to throw up at one point.
Well, I was behind you in an entirely different vehicle, and I would not have lit a match in there. I mean, I too was gagging, and yeah, it was. And by the way, it's hours of that before you see us pull over. We keep radioing to the producers like, yeah, I know this is good TV, and also I think Rob might burst into flames.
But that being said, those are probably. I mean, if I had to choose the episodes that I prefer, like I like that. I like the added sense that something could go wrong at any moment. That these cars are gonna break.
Okay.
You're assured if you buy 3 used cars, you're almost assured one of them is going to be a real pain in the neck.
Especially if Dax has chosen one of them.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, I have about a minute left, so just one quick question for Dax. How did Kristen react to the mural, and was it all inspired by the movie Fanboys?
It was not for me. It was inspired by Breaker Breaker, a Chuck Norris movie. I've always loved those 70s muraled up vans. I've wanted one, and my wife is pretty adamant that's the one vehicle she doesn't want in our driveway. But she wasn't thrilled with the level of female empowerment that was depicted in that mural, understandably. And my kind of excuse was we had to honor the era in which this was popular. And I don't. It didn't fly, but
okay. Yeah. I was just curious. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you meeting with me, and obviously I've loved the first 3 episodes, and I'm hoping that we get to see a second season.